Hello, good afternoon, welcome to New Forest Morphs, and today we're going to be talking about one of my favourite genes, and that is the Mojave. And today we've got Emily, who's our camera lady, so big welcome to Emily, and she's going to join us on this shoot. So let's just talk about the Mojave, and perhaps the easiest way is to bring out one of our baby hatchlings and we'll show you. We've produced a couple of Mojaves this year, and let's pick out this one here, which is Silky. And she is one of our favourite Mojaves. Have a little look at her. Isn't she beautiful? She's about 220 to 250 grams. And she is a Mojave het ultra male. Her daddy was Titus, who's a Mojave ultra male. And her mummy was the bamboo. So she doesn't carry the bamboo trait, because if she carried the bamboo trait, she would have produced a bell, and we'll show you one of those later. What I'll do is I'll just show you how beautiful her colours are. And there she is. There you go. Isn't she just lovely? Now, can you see the characteristics of a Mojave, Emily? What would you say a Mojave looks like to you?
It's pretty normal.
She looks pretty normal, does she? Well, I find what's striking is the yellow, the dorsal. Can you see the really deep yellows there? And then you've got these alien heads below that look like they're floating. They're just floating in the body. And they've got that lovely chocolate brown colour at the top, and it fades down to a white belly. As you can see, they've got a white belly. They're part of the bell complex. So if you put a Mojave with any other animal from the bell complex, they can produce an all-white snake with blue eyes. So let's have a look at the colour of their eyes. Can you see their eye colour? Now, what colour have they got? Should we put them in the light box? Maybe have a look in the light box, Emily. Let's see what they look like. Have you passed me the camera? We'll get a little look at her a bit closer up. And there she is. Isn't she beautiful? So now you can see why we like the Mojaves. And that's the floating alien heads we were talking about. And you can see the lovely deep yellow dorsal, which is all broken. And you can see what colour eye she's got. I think she's got a bluish looking eye. Let's home in and have a look at the eye stripe and the eye itself. I love the white around the alien heads, and I love the yellows and the blacks. Beautiful contrasting snake, one of my favourites. And really happy with this girl here. We managed to produce 3 or 4 of these this year. We have sold one, and we've kept back a couple of females. We sold one of the males, and we're really happy with her. So really happy with that. Now what I'll do now is we'll see the contrast. If I add the Mojave to the ultra male, which I've got a Mojave ultra male girl, let's bring her out and let's contrast the two. Thank you, Emily. So what we'll do is we'll bring out Starburst. I believe Starburst is just shed today. So let's have a little look and see how she's looking. A lot bigger. And there she is. Isn't that beautiful? What a gorgeous snake. Again, can you see the lovely yellow that the Mojave does, how it interacts with the ultra male? You've got the floating alien heads, but you've got the combination of the ultra male mixing with the Mojave. I think it's a lovely combination. And it looks like she's got a bit of a bluish looking eye as well there. And she's weighing about 300 grams, so she's doing really well. Let's put her in the light box and then we can compare the two. Let's see how they look. There we go. There we go. Isn't that just beautiful? So the Mojave ultra males take the Mojave to the next level in my book, and you can see I like both. But yeah, really happy with her. So we're going to bring her up to size. We have a male Mojave ultra male, which is Titus, who's in shed at the moment, and he's the one that produced these beautiful offspring. And yeah, we can build up a couple of females to go. We'll get some lovely combinations going forwards. They're beautiful snakes. Let's put them a little bit closer to each other, and then we can see how they contrast. And then have a little wee look at those. Absolutely gorgeous. And then I suppose if we bring out the third, which will be the bell, so the bamboo to the Mojave, which is also 100% ultra male, we'll bring out our bell Casper, and we'll show you how he's doing. And that's another combo with the Mojave. Thank you, Emily. So we just get Casper out. Now Casper is one of Jared's favourites, and Emily, this is your first ever bell. Do you remember when we got this literally about 6 months ago?
Mm.
Were you happy or were you happy when this came out?
Yeah.
You know, 1 out of 4 chance to get one of these when you're putting a Mojave to a panda, which is
Bamboo.
the mother. Pandas are bamboo girl, yes, that's right. And you can see this one's got yellow stripes, so the Mojave has an influence because even on the bell complex you can see how it's coming through on the dorsal. So if we put this little fellow in, you can see his blue eye as well. He's weighing 450 grams, so he's eating better than the others. Not sure whether it's because Jared's giving it extra food, I don't know, or Maltese, but it's certainly very, very happy. Let's put those 3 together, and then we can have a good look and see how they're all looking. Thank you, Emelina. How about that? Look at the contrast. So that's what the Mojave can do with different combinations. So quite a contrast from 1 or 2 genes interacting with each other. So you've got the Mojave at the back, the Mojave ultra male, and then you've got the Mojave panda 100% het ultra male bell, which I think is pretty gorgeous. Bamboo, sorry, yeah, I keep on calling it panda. I'm creating my own gene here, Emily. But there we go. They're all rejoining as a family, and Casper's showing an interest in the girls. So you can see how big he is compared to the girls. I know Jared must be feeding him some Maltese or something's going on there. It makes a huge difference, the food that you give them and the appetites they have. So there's our 3 little hatchlings we were going to show you. Let's put these back, Emily, then we'll bring out a couple of other combos and then we'll talk some genetics. Beautiful. There you go, Emily. Right, Casper, thank you very much for coming out to play. Isn't he just beautiful, Emily? You can see him in the natural light here as well. Have a look at him. I think he's lovely. So he's one of 3 bells that we have in our facility, and I'll put him back and I'll show you the other bells we've got, which come from the Mojave gene as well. We'll just slip him back. Thank you, Casper. And we'll put the other girls back as well. Right, got to get this right. So we've got Starburst is in there, and I believe Silky is in there. Right, let's put them back. Tuck you into bed. Right, let's have a look at the other bells. So over here we've got Topaz. Now this one is not a Mojave, but it is a super lesser, and the reason why I want to show you this is because you can see with 2 lessers you get a bell because they're part of the same complex. I want to just show you, if I can, look at the size of his eyes. You see the eye size? They're quite big, aren't they? You see how big they are? And I think when you put 2 lessers together you get slightly larger eyes. So they do say one of the best bells you can get is a Mojave with a lesser, because the Mojave with the lessers produce a very pure white snake with nice size eyes. So if I show you what one of those looks like, which he's breeding at the moment. He's over here with Cappuccino, and you'll see there's the other bell. Now this is a Mojave lesser. If you look at the size of the eyes, can you see the eye size, Emily? Mm-hmm. That is slightly smaller than Topaz, but he's been a good boy. He's been hooking up to this lovely girl 3 or 4 times over the last few months. Now we've also got another Mojave, which is called, it's a combination that we put together, and it's called the Crystal. And I'll just show you how this one looks beautiful as well. And just have a little look at this Crystal here that we got just literally a couple of months ago. And you can see the influence of the Mojave here. I really like the look of this. So can you see that you've got the Mojave patterns on the back, floating alien heads, but you've got this incredible blushing, white blushing coming up, and it's all white underneath, but it produces some colour, and it's got a lovely blue eye as well. So similar to the blue eye Lucy's, but it's actually got a slightly different variation in pattern and colour. And we'll put him in the light box and show you what he looks like. So this is the Crystal. There we go. Beautiful animal. I love the stripe on his head and how he's all beautifully laid out. So he'll be a great little male for us going forward. And now we'll show you some other animals that we've got. I'll pass you back to Emily. Thank you very much. Let's just put him back. Right, now you may have heard of, Emily, a purple passion. Have you ever heard of a purple passion? Mm-hmm. Do you want to come and see this? Okay, so I wanted to show you Stormy. Now she's one of my favourite snakes. Look at what a Mojave can do when you mix it with a phantom. So that's a Mojave phantom, and what an amazing snake this is. And we bought this for Jess about a year ago, didn't we, Emily? And it was 150 grams when we bought her, and just look how much she weighs now. I think she's very, very close to being about 1100, 1200 grams. She's a little bit shy. She eats really well, so really, really healthy, and she is probably about 300 grams away from being able to go into our breeding rotations. And there she is. Look at her, isn't she lovely? Can you see the white belly again, the blushing, but it just produces this beautiful yellow, complete yellow dorsal stripe down the back. There's a few little breaks in the dorsal, but nothing much. I just love the way that fades out, and you can see that the floating alien heads are still there from the Mojave. So I think it's one of my favourite genes, and this was produced by Nerd in 2007. And I think the Mojave gene was discovered by the snake keeper in the year 2000. So it's 20 years old, the gene, and they're based in Utah. And I think that's a really, really lovely animal. I'll show you what she looks like in the light box. Should we have a little look in the light box, Emily? I'll just put her in. There we go. Thank you. Look at that. That's the purple passion. Absolutely stunning animal. And you can see the beautiful blushing, the alien heads that have faded in, that lovely purple grey colour. Two genes, phantom mixed in with Mojave, producing this animal. And a nice little side stripe there. And I'll show you what a phantom looks like in case you're curious to know how to make one of these. And the phantom is, you take that, Emily, we'll get the phantom out and do a little contrast. So I've got Jade, who's a phantom. I've also got, how about this for a phantom? He's just shed out. This is a yellow belly, pastel yellow belly phantom. So he's really colourful. I say he's just shed. There's an example of a phantom. We'll put him in there with this girl, see what happens. Let's have a look. So that's a yellow belly pastel phantom. So you put Mojave with that, and that will give you the purple passion. And with yellow belly and pastel in there, it'd be interesting to see what kind of purple passion that would produce. But the actual phantom itself is not quite as colourful as that. But nice combination there. And he's having a little bit of an exploration. Lovely. Thank you, Emily. We'll just put him back. And then I'll bring out the big phantom girl in a second, and you can see what she looks like. There you go, Celeste. Emily, do you want to come see the jade, this phantom here? She's so big, and she's started going into shed now, so we'll leave her in her rub. But there she is. So there's your phantom. Let's have a little look and see her patterns. There you go, there's the phantom. So we can use her to produce some purple passions. We put a Mojave, I think we've put Titus to her. So we've got an ultra male Mojave going to her, so she's got the chance of producing some more purple passions, which would be lovely. And obviously you've also got the opportunity to produce some het ultra males as well with her, which going forward would be very helpful. So we'll leave Jade back to shed nice and quietly, and I think we'll put the purple passion back to bed. Here she is. Alright, isn't she just lovely, Emily? Have a look at her in a natural light. There she is. Is that lovely? What I might do actually is put her around my neck, and we'll just do a couple of minutes of genetics at the table. And then we'll call it a wrap. And then what I'm going to do later is I'm going to go through some combinations on our new technology that Adam has helped us with as well, and we'll add that to the end. There we go. Here she is. So this is Stormy, so this is Jess's snake, and I wonder why we called her Stormy, Emily. Can you remember why we called her Stormy?
Jess just likes the name.
Just like the name. It wasn't because it was stormy weather, I think it's because initially she was a real pistol, wasn't she? And I think she was prone to come out and be quite firm with Jess initially. Jess had to, as her first snake, she had to get quite brave with her. But I think she's now tamed up quite nicely, and she's a beautiful snake. So, as I said, the TSK, the snake keeper, Dan and Colette Sutherland, based in Utah, Mapleton, Utah, and I think their facilities at Spanish Fork, Utah. They discovered the gene in 2000, and as I said, later we had Nerd, who discovered the purple passion in 2007. They put together the phantom with the Mojave to produce this lovely animal, and this is very popular with the lady folk in the hobby, because purple colours are really nice in snakes, and it's lovely to see the purple starting to come out of her. There is a similar snake called the Mystic Potion as well that you can produce, and that's mixing Mystic with Mojave to achieve the Mystic Potion, and I'll show you a picture of those when we get back in. And the other ones that you've got are quite nice. It's called the Mojave GHI. Mojaves are gorgeous, and if you put a super Mojave to a GHI, or you put a super GHI to a Mojave, they are so good at, because the GHI brings out a darker contrast, and therefore the yellows contrast even more with the GHI, so that's a lovely combination to have a look at. So I think there was one other snake I forgot to show you, which is our Pastavi. So Emily, do you know what Pastavi is?
Pastel Mojave.
Pastel Mojave, well done. So I've got here, I'll bring it to the table if you like, Emily, so you don't have to move. Leonardo, and you gave him the name, Emily, didn't you?
I
think you named him Leonardo.
I named Apollo.
Did you name Apollo?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's just bring out this Pastavi here. Now he's very chunky. He's about 12 to 1300 grams, so we could breed with him. We haven't put him in the breeding rotation so far. But what would you say is the benefit of having a Pastavi in your collection? Any ideas?
Not sure.
Well, you get a pastel and a Mojave going into the genes, so that's a double. These are both all codoms, by the way, so you would get 50% of the offspring would be Mojave, 50% would be normal. But if you have a Pastavi Mojave, there's a chance that you're going to get either a pastel or a pastel Mojave, or even a Mojave, so it ups the odds and reduces the exposure to normals. So that's one of the reasons why Pastavis are helpful. But it just means the male can carry 2 genes into the future offspring, potentially. And a lovely combination. You can see he's just shed out today. So as they get older, you can see in this particular case, the pastel lightens up all the yellow on the dorsal, so it actually goes quite light. You've seen how the yellows have faded, and you can see the alien heads are still floating in him. And you can also see that he's got a white underbelly as well, which is pretty typical of Mojaves. And let's see if these two like each other. What do you guys think of each other? And there are some other lovely combinations that I can go into. If you put a banana with a GHI Mojave, they look lovely. You can put Mojave to the special, and that creates the crystal. So I forgot to mention how to create crystal, which you saw earlier, is you put a special gene to the Mojave for that. You can add leopard to Mojave and produce some amazing snakes. I like the chocolate Mojave clowns, and they're beautiful. I'll see if I can find one of those for you. I also like the Pastavi strangers. So if you put this to the stranger gene, you'll see what it does. Absolutely incredible. There's also a couple of other genes which I like. It's the Super Huffman Mojaves are gorgeous, and the Orange Dream Fire Super Pastel Mojave Clowns are beautiful. So the Mojave gene is probably about $100 to get into the basic morphs, and then as you layer them up, they increase in price. So I would highly recommend getting Mojave as part of your collection. It adds beautiful contrast. Look what it can do when you combine them. I'm now going to take you guys onto the computer, and we'll just go and have a look at Morph Market and see what combinations we can find, what kind of prices we're looking at, and what kind of percentages. We might be able to use the genetic calculator to work out percentages and help us with our future projects. So thank you, Emily, for joining with us.
Great.
Thank you everyone for being with us at New Forest Morphs. We appreciate your support, and wishing everyone a great beginning to their projects in 2021. Thank you very much.